Participants, ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of Government of India and on behalf of the ISA Secretariat, I welcome you to this curtain raiser. As you know, the ISA was launched in 2015 by our Prime Minister and the then President of France. It has exemplified the two countries' commitment to fighting climate change. Over all these years, the ISA has grown in strength. It now has 109 member countries and 19 countries that have signed the framework agreement. It is focusing particularly on low-income countries, several of which lie in Africa, and small island states. The organization functions in three broad pillars: programs, analytics and advocacy, and capacity building. It is implementing 9 programs, including new areas such as solar waste recycling and green hydrogen through solar. It is also trying to raise investments for its work. The broad target as laid down in the framework agreement is mobilizing $1 trillion of investment by the year 2030. India has been steadfast in its commitment to the ISA because we believe that it is a major instrument in the fight against climate change. India is the host country and has supported ISA with funds amounting to rupees 175 crore so far. It has also committed funding up to 300 crore over 3 years. India is also the current president and in its second consecutive term of 2 years as president. The 5th Assembly of ISA will be held on October 18 at Hotel Ashok, New Delhi. This curtain raiser also includes a briefing for invitee countries on the arrangements for the Assembly and associated events. The briefing will follow the press interaction by Honorable Minister, and before that, DG ISA will make a brief presentation on ISA. I welcome you once again to this event. I now invite DG ISA for his remarks and presentation.
Shri R.K Singh, Honorable Union Minister for Power and Renewable Energy, Government of India, and the President of the ISA Assembly. Srimati Vandana Kumar, Additional Secretary, Ministry of New and Renewable Energy. Dr. Amita Sarkar, DDG of the CII, which is the organization which has been putting together the logistics for the program. Ambassadors, members from various missions, members of the press, ladies and gentlemen. As the Secretary mentioned, on the 18th, on Tuesday, the 18th of October 2022, we will be organizing the 5th Assembly of the International Solar Alliance under the presidency of India, Mr. R.K. Singh, and the co-presidency of France. On this occasion, we will be looking at a range of issues, which I will speak about in a little moment. But before I do that, I think it behooves us to briefly mention what the International Solar Alliance is all about. As the Secretary mentioned, the International Solar Alliance focuses on 3 priority actions, those dealing with advocacy and analytics, and we will be bringing out on the 19th, the day following the Assembly, 3 reports: a World Solar Technology Report, a Solar Markets Report, and a Solar Investments Report. We have been carrying out a range of capacity building activities as shown in the picture which is there. 2,791 people have been trained on a variety of subjects, but most importantly certified technicians. And something that surprised us but is extremely important is the training of bankers in our member countries to help in the preparation and the review of projects that are submitted for financing. Similarly, we have programs for policymakers and for regulators. We have also carried out and are carrying out a number of projects, helping countries in the implementation of projects as well as carrying out demonstration projects, particularly in the least developed countries and the small island developing states. The total number of projects that we have received for support in their preparation, in starting those projects off. We are not the implementing agency, but we help in finding implementation agencies. These together aggregate to about 9,500 megawatts, 9.5 gigawatts, and are solar water pumps, solar rooftop, mini grids, as well as solar parks. And they are distributed across the global south. We look forward to working with these countries in preparing these projects, then getting a project management cell in place in order to implement it further. We have also initiated a number of demonstration projects in the least developed countries and the small island developing states, 27 of them to be very exact, in the various places that are shown on this map, and the kinds of projects are identified. At the Assembly, we look forward to the inauguration of at least 4 of these projects. Let me also briefly talk to you about the program. On the day before the Assembly, that means on the 17th of October, Monday, there will be an opportunity for bilateral meetings with the President of the ISA. And in the evening, we will host a dinner, an informal dinner, for all the delegates. I should also point out that the CII in parallel is conducting a program, and delegates to the Assembly are more than welcome to participate in the program. The delegates would also be free and willing to participate in the discussions that occur. On the 18th, that is the day of the Assembly, we have the inaugural session in the morning. This will be followed by a group photograph of the heads of mission, the ministers and the heads of mission, from all the countries with the president and the co-president. This photograph will require a little bit, not too much, about 100 meters of travel, of walking between the hall in which the Assembly is held and the place where the photograph is held. And that evening in the front lawns of the Ashok, we have the presidential dinner, which is hosted by the President of the ISA Assembly, and a cultural program that brings together not only the culture of India, but also the culture of many of our member countries. On the third day, Wednesday, the 19th of October, is a whole day program which is devoted to, number one, the release and panel discussions on the 3 reports that I spoke about, the Global Solar Technology, Global Solar Investments, and Global Solar Markets report. In addition, after the launch of these reports and the panel discussion on technology, we would be having in parallel, number one, panel discussions on the investment and the markets report on the one side, and the discussions on new technologies in solar and on technology transfer and absorption in solar energy on the other side. After that, everybody would meet together in the plenary to have the closing plenary session. This is on the 19th. Then on the 20th, for those who are interested, we will arrange for a site visit to the solar PV installation at the Indira Gandhi International Airport, where all the electricity that is needed during the day is met by the solar panels which are on top of the roof and the cargo building. And in the night, they source hydroelectricity. So it's a fully green building that all of you would have already passed through, if not seen, the solar panels.
They've covered to all the aspects which needed to be covered. How we see this, how our country sees this, is as something which is absolutely essential. We see the International Solar Alliance as being absolutely essential to our goal of energy transition, to the Earth's goal and to our planet's goal of energy transition. Energy transition will require switching over to renewable energy. In renewable energy, solar energy is the cheapest, it's the most convenient. Its capital costs are minimum. It is capable of distributed generation. So you can have mini grids powering villages and hamlets. And therefore it is something which can push the objective of universal access. And that is another challenge before this world. The challenge before this world is not only of transition. The challenge before this world is also of access. We have about 800 million people in Africa alone who don't have access to energy. Now you can't give them access by relying upon the conventional methods of large thermal generation plant, power generation plants, coupled with transmission lines covering the whole country. That is a scale of investment which they will not be able to do, and which is not required now. In any case, investments in thermal generation are something which will not serve the cause of reducing and stopping global warming. So solar is the answer. Distributed grids, distributed mini grids are the answer. And if the world is actually serious about energy transition, then this, the International Solar Alliance, is the answer. What we bring to the International Solar Alliance and what the International Solar Alliance makes available to all the member countries, especially the member countries which have the problems of access to energy and the problems relating to transition, is that it houses a body of experts. It provides expertise. It provides aggregation to bring down the prices. And it's also so it has taken up a number of projects, both solar parks, grid scale solar projects, individual solar projects. It has taken up a number of projects. And this is just starting. So it will multiply. Now, my call to the entire world is this, that if you are really serious, and we have had pledges in conference of parties that different countries will pool together $100 billion a year for the cause of energy transition. This is the place, this is the vehicle, the International Solar Alliance is the vehicle which will make this possible. Because it's working with countries which need it, it has the expertise, it has the plans in place, it's already started executing them. If you are really serious about energy transition, then start contributing. Otherwise, please hold your peace hereafter. That's the point. But we haven't seen as yet, much money coming for energy transition for the developed countries. We said that they will contribute, and that those funds are not coming. They're not forthcoming as yet. They need to start coming. We in our country are serious. Yeah, we put money where our mouth is, insofar as the international service is concerned, we are contributing. In our own country, our pace of transition is one of the fastest in the world. Amongst all the major economies, our pace of energy transition is one of the fastest. We are the only major economy whose energy transition actions are consonant with keeping global rising temperature below 2 degrees. We achieved one of our NDCs good 9 years in advance. We had said that by 2030, 40% of our capacity will come from non-fossils. We achieved that in 21. And we are on the cusp of achieving the other NDC again in about a year's time, when we had said that we'll reduce the emissions intensity of our economy by 33% by 2030. We shall reach that by about a year or a couple of years later. We have upped our ambition in COP26, whereby we've said that by 2030, we will have 50% of our capacity coming from non-fossils and 45% reduction in emissions intensity. So we are on track. In fact, we are ahead of what we have pledged. and we shall be ahead of our earlier players because we believe in it. So we are contributing, we are doing it ourselves. Now, different countries have started taking actions for energy transition themselves. I am now asking them to contribute as well. The fact that 109 countries have come together to work on this is itself something which is great news for the world. It's great news for the world. This means that yes, people believe that energy transition is possible, that energy transition is to be done, and we need to put our shoulders to the wheel. But my only request would be, and this is what I will tell the Honourable Ministers when we meet on the 18th, my only request will be that let's start pushing a bit harder so that we roll out projects much faster. The International Solar Alliance is coming up with 3 very innovative sort of constructs which are absolutely essential for capacity addition. One is a payment security mechanism, so that anybody, any developer which sets up capacity in any of the countries which need it, like Africa, in any of the African countries, they will be guaranteed a payment security. So the developer will understand that, he'll have this confidence that his investment will not go bad. There is a payment security plan. We found that it works in our country. We put in place a payment security plan, it works. And second is a fund for making the cost of insurance less, so that making the premium for insurance less, so that the projects can be insured at a lesser premium. That will also make these projects higher. These are 2 things which are absolutely essential for multiplying the projects, multiplying the power generation projects in African countries, in countries where access needs to be worked upon. And the third, of course, is the investment funds. Now, I will be calling upon all my colleague ministers to contribute to these funds. And these funds will be sort of rotatable, they will grow. So this will be something which will spur and catalyze investments. Now, that's our objective here, that we catalyze investment in countries which need it, and in countries where energy access is a problem. So I believe that the International Solar Alliance is the biggest, and 109, not only us, 109 countries believe that, is the biggest step forward towards a healthier planet.
Friends, we are privileged that Honourable Minister for Power and MNRE, Shri R.K Singh, will be taking questions from the media. I welcome the dignitaries on the dais for this interaction. I request media persons to keep their phones on silent mode throughout. To allow all a fair chance to take questions, we may initially take 1 question from 1 person. If anybody has more questions, we can come back later. Questions from the media. So, yes.
Excuse me.
Please introduce yourself.
Hello. One moment. I'm Pranav Prakhar from Vision Television. Honorable Minister, in this autumn and coming year, do you think this ISA and International Solar Alliance is the right answer? And also, my supplement question is, Honorable Minister, with the bullying that is happening on India buying Russian petroleum product, do you think that India is not to say that India is will not accept bullying because India is only accepting only a very small fraction of petroleum product from Russia?
Now, that is something which is a result of the ongoing conflict and the supply chains getting disrupted. Such disruptions can happen at any time. Now, that is something, that is the message from what we are facing. That disruptions in the supply chain can happen at any time, and so we need to diversify our supply chains. And that not only goes for petroleum products, but it also goes for things like polysilicon and solar cells and solar modules. So the supply chains need to be diversified. We have taken steps to ensure that the supply chains are diversified. We came out with a PLI for manufacturing of polysilicon cells, polysilicon to cells to modules. That was very successful. We are going to come out with another PLI that will again put in place almost about 40 gigawatts of manufacturing capacity from polysilicon onwards to wafers, cells and modules. So we are putting in place mechanisms for diversifying the supply chains. And ultimately this also shows that the world will have to transition. The fact that the fossil fuel supply chains are getting disrupted, and not only disrupted, you have cartels working in the fossil fuel supply chain, so that when people see that the prices are going down, they cut production in order to make sure that the prices go up again. So you have cartels functioning. So the energy transition is also necessitated because of this. So all these messages which are coming up point to the need for an energy transition. So that was the first part of the question. The second part I didn't understand. What was it?
The second part of the question was, with India being bullied by the West and the European Union,
We don't get bullied. We don't get bullied.
Do you think that that has to stop, or that
What
needs
sort
to
of
be stopped?
Just hold on. You see, what sort of a logic is this? Here you have some countries crying out loud because Russia has disrupted supplies to them. And here, they are looking askance at other countries buying, and who are waiting for gas to come from Russia, and who are consuming whatever gas is coming from Russia. They can't complain if other countries buy petroleum products. Next.
Could you please pass on the mic till the other side? Yes, please.
And in the law.
fault lines appearing in this energy transition. One of the problems that which Indian manufacturers in solar chain face is record high prices of wafers. Now, as all of you 109 countries get together, bang your heads about what about manufacturing supply chains? There have been repeatedly problems about a group or a country or a company controlling the supply chains, which is also happening in electric vehicles. And as we transition to green hydrogen and other sources of energy, what the ISA will do, will it be a major point about a democratic supply chain and a manufacturing base?
In fact, we've already, as I mentioned, diversifying. So we already have about 20 gigawatts of manufacturing capacity installed. And we have further about 15-20 gigawatts under construction. And similarly, after the second PLI comes, we have a further 40 gigawatts of capacity, right from the entire chain, from polysilicon to wafers, to ingots, wafers, cells, and modules, and they will all be high efficiency. We set bars. We do not accept low efficiency. So this is one step towards diversifying the supply chain, and that diversification of the supply chain will continue. Well, similarly, we believe, and we believe that this is our message to our interlocutors, that we need also to ensure that we have diversification of supply chains for green hydrogen and green ammonia. And I believe that most countries have now got the message. Yeah. Next.
Nations.
Right now, I understand. Right now, we understand that they are under strain. We understand that. Yes, we take note of that. National Solar Alliance does is to provide assistance, technical. They have a body of expert people, and also enable them to mobilize finance, mobilize payment security mechanisms, put in place insurance mechanisms, so that investment comes. You see, most of the investment which is envisaged from the private sector. That's how we have built up our capacity. Our present capacity is 99% from the private sector. So that's how we expect the growth to take place around the world. So the private sector will come and invest, but they will only come and invest if you put in place some mechanisms, right? So the ISA will help those countries put in cells और modules के दाम बढ़े हैं, जो कि जिसका कि उल्लेख हमारे मित्र ने अभी किया, वो बढ़े हैं ये दो कारण से. एक तो सप्लाई चेन डिस्ट्रप्शन है, और दूसरा यह भी है कि हम लोगों ने निर्णय लिया कि हम अपने यहाँ कैपेसिटीज बनाएंगे. तो हम लोगों ने एक कस्टम्स ड्यूटी लगा दिया, वो 40%, हमने 40% ड्यूटी लगाया है, ताकि हमारे यहाँ जो डोमेस्टिक मैन्युफैक्चरिंग कैपेसिटी है वो डेवलप हो सके. तो एक तो हमने कस्टम्स ड्यूटी लगाया, और दूसरा फिर हमने प्रोडक्शन लिंक्ड इंसेंटिव दिए ताकि यहाँ पर मैन्युफैक्चरिंग कैपेसिटी आए. अब इन दोनों स्टेप्स के कारण हमारे यहाँ बहुत कैपेसिटी आ रही. तो कुल मिलाकर के ये जो हमने देखा है इंडिकेशंस, हमारी कैपेसिटी हो जाएगी 2025-2026 तक हमारी कैपेसिटी मैन्युफैक्चरिंग कैपेसिटी हो जाएगी करीब 90,000 मेगावाट, तो हम अपनी ही कैपेसिटी नहीं मीट कर पाएंगे, हम और दूसरे देश के भी कैपेसिटीज मीट कर पाएंगे। तो सप्लाई चेन डाइवर्सिफिकेशन होगा, जैसे कि अभी चीन में है, ज़्यादातर सप्लाई 80-90% पॉलीसिलिकॉन वही बनता है, तो वो अपना प्राइस ये मैनिपुलेट करते हैं, जबकि यहाँ भी बनने लगेगा, कुछ और कंट्रीज भी पॉलीसिलिकॉन मैन्युफैक्चरिंग लगाए होंगे, तो कंपटीशन होगा, तो दुनिया भर के लिए प्राइस कम होगा और एफिशिएंसीज बढ़ रही। पहले एफिशिएंसीज होते थे 17%, 18%, आज नॉर्मल एफिशिएंसी है 21%, और जो कटिंग एज टेक्नोलॉजी से है उसमें एफिशिएंसी है 23%। अभी 24, 25, 26% के भी एफिशिएंसीज आ गए। तो जैसे जैसे एफिशिएंसीज बढ़ेगी, तो जितना जमीन आपको चाहिए सोलर पैनल लगाने के लिए वो कम होता जाएगा, और दाम इन द मेंबर कंट्रीज, स्पेशली इन अफ्रीका, दैट्स व्हाट दिस होल मिशन इज अबाउट। Investments are coming here. As far as we are concerned, I mean, each of our bids are hugely oversubscribed, and the competition is very tough. So, I mean, I have no problem about investment. The point is taking investment to countries which need it. Now, there the risk perceptions are high. In many countries in Africa, the risk perceptions are high. So the developers don't want to go. You have to bring down the risks. You have to de-risk it. So that's the steps. That is the step which the International Alliance is taking. Part funding for this, the de-risking, that means insurance and the business security mechanism. The part funding will be expected to be grants, the green funds, and part we expected to be, long-term loan at low rates of interest, or maybe 0.5% rate of interest. Yeah.
Good evening, sir. This is Raj from
Other multilateral fora, we discussed this also when we met, with other like-minded countries, and this concern is there that supply chain have to be diversified. But not only for energy. Energy, of course, is the most critical element, as we have seen. But supply chains generally have to be diversified. In fact, we were at the receiving end when some countries started dumping cells and modules at very low rates in our country, so as to kill our domestic industry. And then we had to put in place a safeguard duty. Those of you who are from here, all the trade newspapers, they'll know that we had to put a safeguard duty in place just to avoid that dumping. And thereafter, and safeguard duties are put after investigations. It was not just because on suspicion. And thereafter we put in place the customs. Yes, towards transition. As I said, we are a world leader in energy transition. Our rate of capacity addition of non-fossils is the fastest in the world. It will continue to remain the fastest in the world. As far as energy transition is concerned, that has not been impacted. We are trying other methods as well. For example, I have come up currently with regulations that all thermal power plants will also have to bundle renewable energy, so that they start supplying. So suppose you have a thermal power plant of, let's say, 600 megawatt or 1000 megawatts. Now you will have to set up almost 1000 megawatt capacity of renewable energy, bundle it, and then supply it. That's the other regulation. One regulation I put in place for NTPC and DVC. Then I have also put in place a regulation whereby the consumers can demand that, look, the energy which I get, it has to be at least 50% green, or 75% green, or 100% green. And the distribution company will have to give that green energy to the consumer. So that's the other regulation we have put in place. The third regulation we have put in place is that we will start now co-firing biomass with coal. Now that is what you are referring to. Now here we just put this regulation in place. Supply chains have to be built up. You can't co-fire biomass by itself. You have to torrefy it. Now, so torrefying facilities are coming up. They are, just started. So once the torrefying facilities come up, then the co-firing will continue. So as far as energy transition is concerned, we are not relying on one path, number of paths. That's it.
So that we come to the end of the press conference. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you so much.
while-
We have some sort of carbon market because we have renewable energy certificates, that's carbon credits. Then we have energy saving certificates, that's carbon credit. Now we are going to combine all that into one carbon credit. So it will be sold. Now the only question is what can be sold outside, right? Because normally what we would want, what any country would want is that those carbon credits which go to make up our own NDCs, we would want to keep ourselves because we want to achieve our NDCs. But anything beyond that, anything beyond what we require for our NDCs can be sold anywhere in the world. So other countries can look forward to huge quantities of carbon credits being available in India.
So there's not going to be any ban, but you will just...
The ban will only be up to the extent required for my own, for meeting my own NDC.
Which means that parallelly people can sell...
So parallelly, for
overseas
example, if you
and
yes, because we have a system of obligations. So if your obligation is that you must consume, let's say 50% of your energy from green. Now, if you consume more than 50%, then that extra 10% you can market it. We already have a good, robust manufacturing capacity for wind energy, right? So almost 90% of the wind energy equipment is made here already. Now, as we foray into offshore wind, now that is the manufacturing capacity which will come up here insofar as wind is concerned. As far as tidal energy is concerned, we haven't tried it yet because our preliminary estimates show that is going to be very expensive.